Hello and welcome back to Thank You to Creations podcast. I'm your host, Elle. And guys, wow, look at this. We may actually be on a recording streak. How exciting for us! How exciting for me to actually get my schedule in order. But I wanted to come back this month at least more than once because this is a very special month for me. It's my birthday month. So why wouldn't I try and make an exception to my otherwise unorganized schedule and try to bring in more than one recording this month? These topics are going to be a little here and there, but they're really just topics that I just find amusing or fun or really something that's been on my mind, right? We have been talking for the last year, if not more, about so many paranormal things and cryptid zoo creatures and just really about anything that you can find in your paranormal spectrum, if you will, aliens included. And I just wanted to bring that back this month because going into October, I really want to bring in those hauntings and creepy and scary, spooky stories. I've actually been thinking about maybe doing a volume 3 on my Scary Stories Keep You Up at Night books. And something that's still in the works because it does take some time. My last book took me about a year to finalize between myself and the illustrator and just getting the stories put together. So it is a process, a little bit lengthy process, if you will. But I would love to hear ideas. And honestly, anyone who has purchased a book, thank you for doing so. I would love to hear what was your favorite story, whether it was volume 1 or 2. I would say volume 1 was really the my most favorite project because that one not only took me longer than the second one, but it had a lot of stories that were told to me growing up. So, and so did the second one, honestly. So, yeah, both of those definitely have stories that actually, happened to individuals in my life. And so that's really the best part. I haven't been too involved, I would say, into gathering stories in the last year or two. And so that's why I've kind of put a bit of a pause on writing anything new. But I'm looking forward to 2025, I would say, where things kind of get more into place and I fall into these previous things that caused me a lot of joy and a lot of, hobby like enjoyment, right? So, anyway, to our main topics today, we are going to be dwelling into mermaids, but not just any mermaids, just one specifically folklore found in Mexico. And where did I come with this idea? Where I am, not where I am. I am a big fan of a Spanish rock band called Maná. Exactly about a year ago, I actually had the opportunity to see them live in San Antonio with my cousin. And I could not thank her enough for pulling me out there because I don't know if I would have otherwise, but it was such an experience to grow up with their music, relate to their music, and then see them live. So this band, Mana, has been around since early 90s, maybe even earlier than that. Definitely I was being created at the time. And I have always had this just almost obsession with them, right? Their music, their creativity, their storytelling, if you will. And so there's one specific song that is from their late 90s album that is called Sueños Líquidos, and it's called La Sirena, right? So it's 1997 released, and it talks basically about story, right? Again, a lot of their music is based on stories. So the specific story talks about a woman who is waiting for basically the love of her life, right? Her significant other, who is a fisherman of some sort, and he goes out, right, work and all that, and unfortunately, he doesn't come back, right? And she waits and waits for years and years, what seems to be years, for that love of hers to return, and unfortunately, he never does, right? Now, the story goes that they met this lady and she was just obsessed, with the return of her loved one, dressed in her wedding gown. And unfortunately, very sadly enough, he just never returns. So whether or not she just maybe developed a mental right state where she was traumatized or just in delusion that one day he would return, she stays waiting in this you would say bay area or ocean area, for him, and he just never comes back. Eventually she gets taken away, right, by authorities or by mental institution of some sort, and she doesn't meet that, or she doesn't meet her happy ending, right? So they write this story about her, and that really makes you think about, maybe even like a some sort of folklore, if not like magic story in regards to love and waiting for your loved one, and mermaids, right? Because we have this idea of mermaids, whether you believe it or not, right? There's many theories and many evidence, if you will, even on TikTok nowadays. You'll find different videos on fishermen, right, who hear certain sounds or see certain things they can't explain. And yes, it could be certain, I would say, sea creatures that we've never encountered before, because honestly, how much have we encountered in the ocean? It's such a big area of, land or ocean to explore. Um, Same thing with the Amazon, right? Like how much of the Amazon have we explored that we can say that we have seen every creature or every type of animal species out there. But I know there's definitely a few channels or a few videos I've seen on TikTok where it's like, wow, that doesn't seem to have a ordinary explanation to what that could be. And folklore says that these mermaids, they lure fishermen, they lure individuals into their destruction. um, and of course, we've seen, if anyone, right? I think everyone at this point in the planet has seen Wakanda Forever, and there is talk about that, and they incorporate Mexican culture, they incorporate um, different aspects of Mayan Aztec belief, right? That these creatures exist out there. So who are we to say that they don't? But I was really interested in something that I picked up here online in regards to a folklore that is actually based out of a very popular tourist area, right, in Quintana Roo. So Cancun, Quintana Roo, very much, in similar areas. I myself have been to Cancun a few times. Beautiful area. Just have to make sure weather wise, when you're visiting, because it could be some terrible, I would say, tropical storms, hurricanes, and whatnot. And so you just want to make sure you take a look at that before traveling out there. But there is a folklore in regards to the legend of La Sirena de la Laguna de Bacalar. And Bacalar is a town in Quintana Roo, region of Mexico. It's known for beautiful freshwater lagoons, often referred to as the Lagoon of the Seven Colors, because it varies in shades of blue and turquoise. And this legend really reflects on the Mayan heritage of the region and the natural beauty of the lagoon. And the story goes, right, that La Sirena de la Laguna de Bacalar is a beautiful mermaid who resides in the depths of the lagoon. She's described as having long, flowing hair and a captivating voice that lures people to the water. Her singing is said to be so enchanting that it can bewitch anyone who hears it. And the story says that Sirena, once a young woman who lived near the lagoon, she was deeply in love with a fisherman who promised to marry her. However, the fisherman was lured away by another woman, leaving La Sirena heartbroken. In her grief, she threw herself into the lagoon and was transformed into a mermaid, condemned to dwell in the water forever. And the legend carries on with a warning to those who visit the lagoon, saying that it is her singing that really lures you, so you must be cautious. The enchanting melody can lead to danger. And some versions of the story claim La Sirena will try and drag unexpected swimmers into the depths of the lagoon, seeking revenge for her lost love. And it really just reflects on the local culture's deep connection with natural elements and the respect for the mysterious and sometimes I would say, peerless aspects of nature. The sirena represents both beauty and danger of the lagoon, symbolizing the complex relationship between humans and the natural world. And her story is a blend of romance, tragedy, and supernatural warning, embodying elements of common folklore across various cultures. It is definitely something to entertain, I would say, because it is true. When you encounter certain nature and you're just not sure how to explain it, you have to find some kind of common ground where you are able to, right? Your brain is able to understand it. And so it does make a lot of sense that you would make some kind of connection to the, I wouldn't say paranormal, but just like the unknown, right? Now, the legend, right, Leyenda La Sirena, has become part of the local tourism appeal, which means that if you take a tour, they'll probably talk about it and, just kind of give you a little bit of knowledge of the beliefs. It comes in with storytelling sessions and just trying to entice tourists, to come and visit, honestly. It does preserve a lot of local traditions and it's a subject of interest in cultural studies. And it's just contributing to the tapestry of Mexican folklore and heritage. So, of course, if we go to Cancun, Quintana Roo, there's a lot of museums, a lot of art galleries, a lot of different, I would say, regions and parts that will always be open to sharing their local history and local beliefs. It's going to be open minded when you go there. Don't just go there and drink, just be open minded to the locals. It's something that I've always enjoyed doing. And it is so odd because when I'm there, right, I want to belong, I want to be part of everything, but I do know that I am looked as a foreigner, and honestly, it's humbling right, in a sense, because every time I come back from these trips, it's just a humbling experience to see how these locals have such strong beliefs in their folklore and such strong beliefs and um and just what they grew up on, right? So and you come back home and you're just like, man, none of this matters. And it just country, right? Just countries between Mexico and in the US, just night and day completely, the way that people live their lives and the beliefs they have. Very humbling experience, honestly. So the story basically it stands out just because it's deeply rooted in the local geography and culture of Quintana Roo. It just provides a vivid example of how mermaid legends are woven into the fabric of Mexican folklore. And it blends, of course, that myth, romance, and natural environment, offering a realistic glimpse into how such legends can shape and reflect cultural identity. And I'm sure in different cultures, not only the Mexican culture, but many other ones, you may find mermaid encounters and ideas and, just sightings, if you will. And it just depends on the region, where they come from. Whether or not they're real, we may never know, right? There's definitely some compelling evidence I found online or through articles, but it's just up to your ideology and your belief. For me, honestly, um, I'm very much voice of reason and very, I would say, provide me proof before I believe in anything. But I also have this glimpse of magic, right? Maybe my inner child, if you will. But I like believing in the magic of life and like believing the simple things of life. And I know that if I was surrounded by it a lot more than I am here in this almost just capitalist indulging life, that my perspective would definitely change. So keep an open mind, keep an open mind, y'all. This was a quick episode for sure, but like I said, I want to make my presence a little bit more known this month. It's just celebrating another year of life, another year of being on this earth and learning, continuing to grow with you all. So I'm sure I will have another episode next week, just trying to make time for it, of course. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely want to thank you for staying in tune for this long. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'm more than happy to consider those. And as always, just want to say thank you for supporting this channel and being part of it. I definitely have, so many new projects and just new things coming up, I hope, in the next year. And I'm just so grateful for all of you. So give us a like, give us a follow. We are on basically all platforms. So we are on Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Amazon Podcast, and Apple Podcast. Just name a few. There might be a few that I'm missing. Definitely give us a follow, share us, and let us know what you want to hear about next. I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And that's pretty much it. All right, L out.